Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Detroit Free Press ran a story this morning about auto insurance in Michigan. And I talk about this quite a bit because Michigan's got the strangest no-fault insurance, among the worst type of insurance that you can get. And Michigan's is horrible. And J.C. Reindl wrote the story, and I know J.C. I've talked to him several times. But auto insurance companies wrongly telling drivers to wait for savings. And what happened was that this year, Michigan's legislature passed auto insurance reform because Michigan's rates are through the roof. Michigan's got among the highest, if not the highest, auto insurance rates in the nation. And people scream and yell about it because the rates are high. And so they talk about it every few years about what we can do to reform it to lower the rates. And of course, the irony of it all is I remember when NoFault got passed. I was quite young, but they said when we pass NoFault, it's going to lower your rates. They passed NoFault, and of course, rates didn't go lower. So when they passed the most recent reform, turns out the rates aren't going down. In fact, they might be going up. I've had phone calls from several people now telling me that their rates went up. So in case you're curious about what's going on, two things you need to understand. One is that no-fault insurance literally means that if we are driving along in traffic, you and I, you're in your car and I'm in my car, and somehow the cars collide, my insurance pays for my car, your insurance pays for your car. If you don't have collision on your car, you're out of luck. But the basic coverage is still kind of expensive. And the main reason it's so expensive is Michigan's got one other thing that most other states don't have. And that is that if you get an accident in Michigan and you get a catastrophic injury that's going to last you for the rest of your life, catastrophic, I'm talking about like permanent brain damage where you're going to need medical care 24 hours a day for the rest of your life, okay? In many states, there's a cap on how much insurance you have to carry. And once you hit that cap, boom, the insurance company's off the hook. So what happens is you run out of money because you need coverage 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you suddenly get pushed onto welfare or some other state aid. And so Michigan decided as a policy issue back at the beginning of NoFault that we're not going to let that happen and push people onto the state because someone's going to pay for that. There's no such thing as free money. So what they did instead is they just said, we're going to tack a premium onto every single policy in Michigan, take those premiums, put them in a pool, and use that money to pay these catastrophic claims. And that's been the case for a long time now. And so the only way that you could really lower the rates in Michigan without just getting rid of NoFault would be to eliminate that catastrophic claim issue, which is what they've kind of done. But some people said, but wait a second. You're telling me that if I get in an accident or have a catastrophic injury and the money runs out, I'm basically driven into bankruptcy and then I wind up on the state dole for the rest of my life? Yeah. Well, what they decided to do to resolve that issue is if you want to buy and opt into a program that'll do that for you, you can. It'll still just cost you more money. So some people's insurance rates, if they want the same coverage they had before, will go up. Other people still have the rates go up. But what you can do, though, is you can choose what level of that coverage you get. So, hey, I'm all for consumer choice. So if you want to opt out of that and take the risk, it's, what are the odds, right? So I have no problem there. But here's the issue. The state's top insurance regulator is raising the alarm about auto insurance companies that are wrongly telling drivers to wait before they're allowed to update their policies and take advantage of Michigan's new and cheaper coverage options. The director of the Department of Insurance and Financial Services issued a formal bulletin Wednesday to insurance companies that described how some auto insurers are preventing customers from making changes to their policies until their next renewal period, forcing them to wait as long as 6 months or more. So some people are calling their insurance companies right now going, hey, I heard that rates went down. Do I get that? And they go, no, not until you renew at the end of your policy. It's not how it works. So the bulletin says that under Michigan law, auto insurers must give customers one of the two following options. The option to modify your existing policy or the option to cancel it and reissue it to reflect new coverage. So that's what they should tell you if you call and say, hey, can I do this? So under the first option, some insurance companies will simply allow you to modify your policy between renewal periods, what is known as a midterm endorsement. But not all insurers allow those changes. For those that don't, they must give eligible customers the option to cancel the policy and then get a new policy with the coverage changes. Customers are also entitled to a refund of any excess paid premiums for the canceled policy. And by the way, this is all mandated by state law, and to be licensed to sell your insurance in the state of Michigan, you got to follow these laws. Insurance companies that fail to offer one of those two options are violating the law and could face penalties such as fines or license revocation, according to the insurance department. Of course, that never happens. Never happens. Insurance department spokesperson Laura Hall said the department's consumer hotline has received complaints from people who claim they were told by insurance agencies that they cannot change their policy outside its renewal period. So if you're in Michigan and you're in the middle of your policy right now, call your company and say, I want either to modify this and lower my rate, or I want to rewrite the policy. They've got to let you do one of the two. Those people presumably were not given the option I just described to you. The Free Press has fielded similar complaints from Michigan drivers since the state's revamped no-fault auto insurance system took effect on July 2nd. So we are right now a little bit over a week past that. So we're 1 week into this. I got a phone call from one of my brothers a couple days ago and said, I just got my thing and my rates went up. And he said, I thought we had a new insurance regime in Michigan. I go, we do. My rates went up. And I said, does that surprise you? The system gives drivers a first ever choice in the amount of medical benefits to buy with auto insurance known as personal injury protection, or PIP. Previously, all drivers had to buy potentially unlimited coverage that I described to you. That requirement was unique in the nation, and it led to high auto insurance premiums, especially in some urban areas in Michigan. Now, drivers can save money by choosing lower amounts of PIP and relying on their own health insurance plan for auto accident medical bills. Those with Medicare or a commercial health insurance plan that covers auto accidents can completely opt out of PIP and save the most money so long as every relative in their household also has health insurance that covers car crashes or has a vehicle with full PIP coverage. One gentleman from Sterling Heights said he called an agent last Friday to inquire about changing his PIP coverage, and he said he pays more than $3,000 a year to insure his one car, a 2020 GMC Terrain, and he'd like to lower his bill. But the agent said he couldn't make changes to his policy until it is up for renewal in March. The man says, I questioned the agent on the phone, and he went and talked to somebody. He came back with the same story that I had to wait until March to make these changes. He said he's now considering switching insurance companies to one that will offer him the choice of lower PIP coverage. Meanwhile, representatives from that insurance company did not respond to requests for comments to this article. Another driver told the Free Press that his auto insurer sent policyholders a letter stating that it won't offer new PIP options in Michigan until a policy is in its renewal period. The driver contacted Michigan's DIFS department and was asked about that. A Department Consumer Services representative told the driver that the Hartford, that's the company, has an auto insurance program through the AARP that is unable to offer midterm adjustments to policyholders because Michigan law doesn't require insurers to make midterm adjustments. The representative told the driver that Hartford is still in compliance, or maybe not. The insurance department spokesperson later told the Free Press that the consumer services representative gave the driver an accurate but incomplete answer. It was accurate but incomplete. Accurate but incomplete. Remember, you're told to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. That's the oath, right? The truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And I've had people say, isn't it redundant? It's not. Is it true? Did you tell me everything? Did you leave anything out? So to say that this was accurate but incomplete means it wasn't accurate. The driver should also have been told that consumers can cancel an existing policy at any time and from that same insurance company get a reissued policy with the new coverage options. They can also switch insurance companies to get a new policy. And the insurance companies have known this was coming. This was not a surprise to them because they're the ones who've been lobbying for years to get this changed. So they've lobbied for years to get the change. They got the change. And now people say, okay, I want lower rates. They go, oh, you can't do that. You have to wait. DIFS is investigating complaints from consumers about companies that will not allow questions, but issued a statement saying it would comply with Fox's bulletin and begin accommodating customers seeking to cancel their existing policies and apply for new ones with the new options. So it's a confusing time in Michigan. And of course, as always happens, the insurance companies are trying to err in their own favor to make money. And the reference to Fox's bulletin is Anita Fox is the director of the Department of Insurance and Financial Services. She's the one who issued the bulletin saying, here's what you guys need to do. And that is one of two things. Again, let people modify their policy now or cancel it and rewrite it. But they have the right to the new rates now. It doesn't matter when your policy started or when it ends. So the bigger problem I have is that most people who want the same coverage they had before, their rates are going to go way up. Other people who thought the rates were going to drop, they ain't dropping that much, if at all. So it's only a week old. This whole system's only a week old. And who knows, maybe it'll shake out differently. But what we're seeing right now is not that impressive. And people, like I said, have been complaining about auto insurance rates in Michigan for years. They've been complaining about our system for years. And every time I talk about no-fault insurance, people always say, well, Steve, if someone hits you and your insurance has got to pay for it, you can still sue and get your money back. No, you can't. That's what no-fault is. They go, well, yeah, but you can still sue them though, right? No. If you file that lawsuit, it's a frivolous lawsuit. If you're simply suing them saying they were at fault, no, it's a frivolous lawsuit. You can get your deductible back, but that's it. And the example I give, it happened to me earlier this year. I was stopped at a light and a woman rear-ended my brand new Ford Explorer and caused $7,000 or $8,000 in damage to it. And she was on the hook for my deductible. 100% her fault. She was ticketed. She told me I wasn't paying attention. She told the cop I wasn't paying attention. Cop gave her a ticket. Wasn't paying attention. My insurance company paid for my car. Her insurance company had to pay for her car. What no fault is. It's the strangest thing we had here in Michigan. So I'm used to it. But first claim I've made in a long time. So there you go. But auto insurance companies have been wrongly telling drivers to wait for savings. Don't believe it. Got to call them right now and get your rates dropped if they're going to drop. But at least get the policy rewritten to cover what it is that you want to cover. So JC wrote the story for the Free Press. Thank you very much. Questions, comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. When all else fails, read the instructions.